What's going on, traders? Good morning. It is the 12th of April. We are going to take a look at a daily chart of CASPER Labs / Tether. So we're at a little bit of a different chart today. We're going to use the OKEX right up here. You can see we are going to use this chart today here for the CASPER daily chart. And today's video, we're just going to lay over some Fibonacci numbers throughout this chart, and you could see some of the upper price targets using the fibs for CASPER moving forward. Before we jump into the chart, I want to take a quick look over here at the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. Yesterday was quite the sell-off for the stock market as well as the crypto market. We are sitting back in extreme fear at a 20 level. This year has been, and the end of last year has been wild. I don't know of a time where we sat in these fear levels for as long as we have as of the end of last year and into 2022 for the crypto markets. Pretty incredible. So just for what that's worth, be greedy when others are fearful. And I would say there is a decent amount of fear out there after yesterday's sell-off in the crypto markets as well as the stock market. So that is the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. And you can check that out. Kind of gives you how it's measured all down in here. So let's jump back. I will leave a link to this down in the video description if you want to check that out. So back to the charts. So here we are, daily chart, CASPER Labs / Tether. We're going to take some fibs. And I'm going to take the swing high of over on here, which would be, looks like the 21st of May. So a little bit more than 1 year ago. And I'm going to take this area because we have a little bit of price action traded. Let me zoom in and I'll show you. We have some price action traded in here. And I like to see that. So we do have some price action traded in here, some swing highs, swing lows, and whatnot. Whereas if I just took this up here, it looks like we only had 2 days where we traded up in that range. So I will use that example, but to start it off, I'm going to take that 21st of May. So CASPER is a new project, has not been on the market for very long, has big potential, we believe. All right, so we'll take that swing high. Looks like that swing high was 54 cents. So 54 cents, and then we have the swing low over here on the 16th of July, and that low was 487. Then we'll just drag it over. So 487, 488 will work. That is close enough. So here we are. You can see that CASPER is well below the 236 fib level, which is this yellow horizontal line on the chart. And if you have watched other CASPER videos, history tells us, if we use fibs and look at the charts, that when assets are under this 0.236 fib level, they are in a great area for accumulating for the bulls. For those who think the price will rise, when it's under this area, the odds favor that higher prices to come in the future. Whereas if you're purchasing up in these other fib areas, the odds start to go against you, as you can expect some correction to sideways to downside price action. But when you're below this fib level, the odds favor that higher prices to come in the future. So just wanted to point point that out. We are below the 236 fib level. Looks like we're sitting today up just about 3% at 774. Let me get rid of these arrows here. So we're going to zoom in a bit here. You could see that found some resistance up here at the 200-day on the 2nd of April. Got a nice sell-off, but perhaps we're doing a little bottom fishing here, trying to find a bottom at this recent area of price action, and then correlates to over here. But let's zoom back out. So you can see from where we're at now, the 7-cent level. To get us up to a full fib retracement would get us up to the 4236, which is right up in here. And that's right around that $2, $2.10, little give or take range. So that would be quite the return from 7 cents up into there. So definitely keep that in the back of your mind of the potential return here for CASPER. Once we get out of this giant basing structure, this giant sideways action, and get us into new all-time highs, that'll get us above the 382 fib level, which is, it looks like that's around that 23 to 24 cent range. So right in here, we put a top in, we double topped, and we've been trading lower ever since. But you can see that is sitting right at a fib level, the 0.382, right around that 23 to 24 cents. So a break above that takes us up to the 29 cents, and then we head higher into, looks like 33 at the 618. The 786 is a 43 cent, and then we have 54 cents, and then we're up into some really nice areas up in here. 1618 right around an 83 looks like cents. The 26 up into here to $1.30, and then we are really off to the races, $1.82, and then I had mentioned $2 or so for a 4236 fib level. Some people say that it is not possible. If you look at other assets in their early stages and run some fibs, you can see that they have hit these higher upper fib retracements over time, especially CASPER being very new in the markets, only trading for about a year or so, in a great area of accumulation and very close to its all-time lows down here. And I think that I said that was 487 using this pair, this OKEX pair. Prior videos, I have used different pairs, but switching it up for this video, going to use this pair. They're all pretty similar. Like this high goes up to looks like the $30 range, whereas the other pair, I think it's up into the 60s. Now that is just a wick. So anyways, back to the fibs. So if we move higher from there, we have a fib level up in here at 5. That takes us to a $2 and looks like 51 cents. No, excuse me. And then we have an $8 fib up in here. It looks like that is right around almost $4, $3.98 it looks like. Quite mind-blowing, the potential here for returns on your capital. Heading up to a 13 fib level, $6.44. Can you imagine that? You're accumulating down here at this whole area, whether you got in at 5 cents, whether you got in at 9, or you got in at 11. You can use these fibs as areas to potentially scale out of your profits. You can look at them as price targets. Basically, I look at the fibs as like a roadmap. So you reach mile marker, mile marker number 1, mile marker number 2, number 3, and so on. And that's kind of how I use the fibs as a rough area where price can be heading to or finding support at. So heading back up to the upside, we have a 21 fib at a $10.38, give or take a bit. Wow, crazy stuff here. But Fibonacci numbers in the market's all based around numbers. So, and then we have a 34 fib up here at a $16 CASPER. So you can do the same thing. You just go over to if you're on TradingView, you go over to your left-hand side here. You go to your fib retracement and you find a good area, a swing high and a swing low, and it'll lay these numbers out. These upper fib numbers I have added myself. Fibonacci numbers, you can do that as well. Standard, it'll just go up to the 4236. But you can add Fibonacci numbers to the upside. And adding these fibs to other assets that have made big runs, like XRP being one of those, you can see that some of these assets do hit these upper price Fibonacci numbers. Pretty crazy. All right, so that was off that swing high to that swing low. Let's go ahead and change it up a bit. We will take this area right here. I'm not going to take the wick all the way up into that $30 range, but I will take this swing high because there looks like at least 2 days of price traded action are up in that 430 area. And then we'll swing over, we'll swing down to that 4 right around there. So this gives us even a different look, even a more extreme look. This tells us using that area that we are well below the 236 fib level, which is sitting at about $1 on using this way to calculate it. So you can see we're way down in here. Now, I don't know how much validity I put on this. It seems a little bit skewed since the price shows that there's so much trading down in here that taking these crazy highs up in here, I'm not too sure about. I'm more comfortable taking it from this area. But we'll still talk about it and let your minds run wild a bit here. So obviously well below the 236, which is up at $1. We're sitting at 7 cents. Pretty crazy. And then you have, I mean, it's pretty crazy, the returns, the potential returns here using this way. I mean, you have all the way up in here, the 1.6, the 2.6, 4.3, and 4.2. I mean, the 4.2 is an $18 CASPER. So that basically got us up to where the 34 was in the prior example. But if we got to zoom out here, I'm using a 32-inch LG monitor and still not big enough for this example here. So, by the way, if you use a laptop, they work great. I have one of those as well. But if you have a desk setup and you are a trader or a gamer, or you watch a lot of YouTube, highly recommend getting a big quality computer monitor for either your laptop or your desktop. Especially for those looking at charts, I wish I did it sooner. I went from a 24-inch Dell to an LG 4K. I will never go back. If anything, I will go bigger in the years ahead. Especially the 4K. It is the amount of real estate you have on the screen is just consider it. I would never go back. 32 inch. So anyways, back up to these other higher fib levels. So using this example, which I did say is quite extreme, and I don't know how much weight I will put on it, but we can talk about it. All the way up into here. So if we get to an 8 fib, that gets us to all-time highs using this example, and that's a $34 CASPER. Crazy stuff. And then from there on, it just gets even more crazy. You have a triple digit CASPER up in here at the 34. 21 is an 89 and a 13 is a 55. So any of these fib numbers are quite crazy. Getting us to all-time highs will probably happen. It'll probably take some years ahead, maybe a couple cycles, but I would definitely not rule that out, assuming CASPER doesn't throw in the towel and disappear and they keep innovating and working on their projects. So anyways, guys, letting your minds run wild a bit, but definitely in the single or double digits. I would not be surprised to see that sooner rather than later, assuming we don't roll over and head into a multi-year bear or sideways market. I think we could expect CASPER definitely up into that $+ range this cycle, assuming this cycle is not over. But right now, things are a little wish-washy, with markets being flat and some actually heading into the bearish territory. But we will see if this was just a pullback before the next leg higher, which I kind of do believe that, but I will have to allow the charts to tell me that. And right now, they are not quite doing that. So as always, got to have patience. Things take longer than usually one expects in the markets. But I look at this as a big old basing, accumulation, changing of the guard area for CASPER. So we have this area up in here, which now is resistance, and then we have this whole basing structure in here. So there is a lot of traders accumulating shares of CASPER in this area, tons and tons and tons. And at some point, when this thing does break out of this area, it will happen fast and strong, especially with an asset priced as low as CASPER is. These old highs over in here, this high and where we double topped at over here, will be broken to the upside at some point. It is only a matter of time. So people don't want to talk about or accumulate assets when they're down here near their all-time lows or even in the red. They want to be buying them when they are up in here, up huge on a percentage basis. And perhaps there's nothing wrong with that, but for a even bigger return, I know where I would like to be accumulating these anyways. So, all right, guys, welcome to the channel. If you have not yet subscribed, go ahead and consider doing so. The channel is growing nice. I appreciate all of the comments beneath the videos. Interesting to hear people's take on different assets, and nice to talk to like-minded individuals interested in the markets and finance, and it is awesome to say the least. So go ahead and consider subscribing to the channel. Greatly appreciate it. Links, of course, as always, down in the video description. Stay safe out there. These markets are wild, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care.